Chatters are wild.
That's wild. Okay. All right. So now let's talk about, first of all, we're going to cover this from two fronts. One, obviously we're going to talk about how damaging this is. We are going to talk about how awful this is. But before we get to that, let's talk about how fucking old this is, okay? This idea that like gay people are fucking trying to do pedophilia is a super, super old concept. I mean, even yesterday when we were watching the Abba and Preach video, when they brought up completely irrelevant as a non sequitur, when they fucking pulled the idea that like, well, trans women can fucking lie about being trans to do rapes, like to be predatory, like not saying that they do, but they can. That's just a super, super antiquated, super old fucking concept. So let's take a look at from the 50s, some propaganda.
That looks innocent enough, doesn't it? Lots of young people hitchhike. Seems like a good way to get from one place to another. But sometimes there are dangers involved that never meet the eye. Let's take the case of Jimmy Barnes. Jimmy played baseball all afternoon, and he didn't feel like walking home, so he decided to thumb a ride.
Brother Hasan, in America, everything is so perfect that you have time to think about a man's anus. Yeah, dude. That's what this is. Talking about protections for LGBTQ people and ensuring that, like, the wave of legislation against them is purged and the propaganda towards them conducted, calling them fucking, predators, showing that it's like all the way from the 50s is the exact same thing. That's actually me thinking about male butt. I love that. I'm always thinking about male ass, dude. A noose specifically. Yeah, I have shown this on stream before.
He'd done it 100 times before, and he didn't think anything was unusual when the driver struck up a friendly conversation. In fact, he seemed like a real nice guy. He asked Jimmy if he played baseball in the park often. Jimmy told him they practiced 3 times a week and played a rival group on Friday afternoon. The stranger was a good listener, too, and it only seemed minutes before they pulled up in front of Jimmy's house. When Jimmy got out, the stranger gave him a friendly pat. Then he told him he'd see him again, as he always drove by the park on his way home. Jimmy hadn't enjoyed himself so much in a long time. Then during lunch, Ralph showed him some pornographic pictures. Jimmy knew he shouldn't be interested, but, well, he was curious. What Jimmy didn't know was that Ralph was sick. A sickness that was not visible like smallpox, but no less dangerous and contagious, a sickness of the mind. You see, Ralph was a homosexual, a person who demands an intimate relationship with members of their own sex. But by now, Jimmy felt a fondness for Ralph, and they continued to go places together. Ralph was generous and took Jimmy many interesting places and did many nice things for him.
Yep. I mean, we can continue the propaganda, but the homophobic propaganda to show you, why this stuff is not new if we want, but
Hassle.
can't believe they wouldn't even play, the heterosexual golf, which is just golf, whereas they ended up playing the gayest version of golf, which is mini golf, of course.
He bought presents and even gave him money, but payments were expected in return. You see, Jimmy hadn't recognized Ralph's approach soon enough. When Ralph first asked Jimmy to go fishing alone, he should have discussed it with his parents or teacher. Finally, Jimmy told his parents, and they...
The greatest example of what you're watching here is what Matt Walsh, famously, who was on that video, once said, where he literally made an excuse for the pedophilia in the Catholic Church, and then said the real problem in the Catholic Church is not pedophilia, it's actually homosexuality. Okay? Where he was like, I'll excuse pedophilia, I cannot excuse homosexuality. Do you guys remember that? Let's see if I can find it. Hold on, let me see if I can find it. Matt Walsh, the theocratic fascist, by his own words, for the record, basically said, pedophilia I can excuse in a tweet, But you know, the homosexuality I can't stand. Wait, what the fuck? Wait, why can't I find the fucking actual tweet? God damn it. Oh, here it is. The pedophile scandal in the Catholic Church is not a pedophile scandal. The vast majority of victims are post-pubescent teens and young men. The real problem in the church that everyone sees and few will say out loud, gay priests. My man, straight the fuck up, said, I can excuse the pedophilia, but I cannot excuse homosexuality, okay? And there's so many examples of this, which is why I think it's laughably, one, old school, but also, two, incredibly hypocritical.
They reported it to the juvenile authorities. Ralph was arrested, and Jimmy was released on probation in the custody of his parents. But all homosexuals are not passive. Some resort to violence, as in the case of Mike Merrick. In the heat of competition, no one noticed the man who sat and watched. And when the game broke up and the others left, Mike decided to stay in practice.
Oh yeah, additional notes for the actually it's a phobophilia, okay? That makes it all the better. Matt Walsh hit that classic libertarian high note of saying, actually it's not even pedophilia, it's ephebophilia.
Practice a little longer. The stranger joined him. He was friendly and, well, it was better than playing alone. But after a few shots, Mike realized he had already overstayed his time and suggested he better leave. The stranger told...
My man is doing, by the way, you know, pedophilia out in the fucking public with a goddamn tuxedo and a bow tie on. Like, he just dressed up. This morning, he woke up and he was like, I'm going to go do the predatory sex shit, okay? But I got to make sure that I'm dressed to the fucking nines, dude. That's his... This is some real Tory behavior, okay? This right here has nothing to do with homosexuality and everything to do with being a fucking Tory, all right? Straight up. This is like, what are you I did not have famously Prince Andrew saying, I did not have my noncery shirt on. You know, I would never be caught dead in public without my shirt on that I engage in with my nonce shirt, my grooming shirt. That's actually Rees-Mogg. I mean, it's all of them.
Told him if he'd like to stay longer, he'd be glad to drive him home when they finished. Sounded great to Mike. Chance to play longer and get a ride home, too.
I mean, brother, Mike should have fucking figured out right out the jump that homie's there in a tux. Who plays basketball in a tuxedo, bro? That's a red flag, dude. Get the fuck out of there. Get out of there! He's got a bow tie on! The fuck?
Have you seen this?
When they finished, the stranger told him he'd make a fine player someday if he got lots of practice. The companionship, the praise, the friendly attitude dispelled any misgivings Mike might have had about going with a stranger. He probably never realized until too late that he was riding in the shadow of death. But sometime that evening, Mike Merrick traded his life for a newspaper headline. Public restrooms can often be a hangout for the homosexual.
Bro, literally the same shit. Bathrooms, dude. Oh, watch out for bathrooms. That's where the gays are hiding, okay? Look at that. That's crazy. These motherfuckers, these conservatives, straight up cannot come up with a new idea, okay? To save their fucking lives, they could not come up with a new idea. It's always the same shit, okay? It's the same exact shit.
Bobby and his friends hadn't noticed the man who had been in the restroom when they changed, and as it was late, he suggested they take the shortcut under the pier, but the others preferred to take the more traveled way home. When Bobby recognized the stranger as the man in the restroom...
These guys recycle talking points like hipsters recycle fucking fashion trends, dude. I swear to God. Every fucking hipster is like now dressing like the 90s, you know what I mean? Like the 90s are back, or the 2000s, like the pre... LGBT like marriage legalization era, and they are fucking using the same talking points from that era, okay? It's the same shit. Says you, bro, I don't dress like anything, okay?
The shortcut under the pier didn't seem like a good idea at all.
Someone in the chat heard me make this very obvious joke and said, fashion is cyclical, dumbass. That's what you got mad at, dude? Thank you for defending fashion. Thank you for defending the honesty, the honor and integrity of fashion cycles. I know. That was the joke. That was the whole point.
18 months then.
After all, it's more fun to stay with your friends anyway. Bobby had made a wise decision. It may have saved his life. One never knows when the homosexual is about. He may appear normal, and it may be too late when you discover he is mentally ill. So keep with your group, and don't go off alone with strangers unless you have the permission of your parent or teacher.
My man said the homosexual might appear normal. Wait, what the fuck? This week, lesbian?
Do you regard yourself as being exactly the same as everyone else, except in your private sex life?
Well, certainly, yes. I don't think there's...
Lesbians. Okay, we're gonna do that for sure as well, okay? We're absolutely gonna fucking do that. That's awesome. So here it is. In this vile new discourse, grooming, Maddie Iglesias says, in this vile new discourse, grooming is defined as just like same-sex couples existing, exactly why people have been alarmed about the vague wording of the Florida law. Groomergate, says Breitbart, 15 times Disney promoted LGBTQIA2S plus in children's programming.
Asshole.
Dude, what the fuck? I didn't even know there was a 2 and a S there. You know what I mean? Like, these motherfuckers are saying two-spirit now. I didn't even know that two-spirit was like a separate designation that was added on to the LGBT, convention, naming convention. But Breitbart's more woke than I am. Holy fuck. Jesus Christ. They're like, yeah, Breitbart's about to do land acknowledgments before they fucking dunk on indigenous people and call for further genociding them. You know what I mean? Breitbart's like, yes, we are headquartered on, on indigenous land. Also, we will never stop until every water supply is tainted with our pipelines. Okay. Two-spirit is found in Native American culture, I'm pretty certain. Yeah, it is. That's why why do you think I'm making land acknowledgement jokes? Chatter. Keep up. Yes. Okay. Disney Channel's Good Luck Charlie and Disney Junior's Doc McStuffins featured lesbian moms. The horror! The 2 animated series for children have both featured lesbian couples. Good Luck Charlie aired an episode in 2014 in which one of the 4 children has a playdate. Dude, I love the idea that like a Breitbart guy has to watch all the Disney movies, like freaking the fuck out, looking for like, ooh, is there a mention? Is there someone who's queer coded? This is literally the other side of BuzzFeed. This is just like hateful BuzzFeed at this point. You know what I mean? Like, which queer coded characters from Pixar absolutely slay queened, but on like the psychotic reactionary side of that equation, okay? Liberals do the same exact thing when they're like, oh, who's your favorite queer-coded Pixar mom with a fat ass? And then, this is the Breitbart version of that, okay? Doc McStuffins had an episode in 2017 featuring lesbian moms voiced by openly gay actresses Wanda Sykes and Portia de Rossi. We gotta jail them. That's crazy.
Okay.
Imagine. I can't help but consistently say, who fucking cares? Why the fuck do you care? But of course, when I say that about trans issues, people say, Hasan, a lot of people do. Yeah, they do because they're fucking transphobic. And they care about this because they're, anti-LGBT. They're bigoted. That's why.
None.
So never back down from that position of like, you don't care about this. This is fucking ridiculous. Shut the fuck up. This is not an issue at all. Okay? Shut up. You're making this an issue. Anyway. But here is the greatest fucking, once again, here's the greatest self-report. There is a lot of parents, myself included, who don't like seeing gay characters in cartoons for little kids. There's no way to answer questions about that without getting into sexuality, which is what we're trying to avoid. And it's been snuck in on purpose, Soros style.
Hey.
Bro, you are literally a fucking freak and your children should be taken away from you if you can't describe, a man loves a woman just like your mom and dad, okay? And they get together and they have children without talking about sex. If you can do that, then you can do that for a man and a man can love each other as well. Or a woman and a woman can love each other as well, just like your mommy and daddy. Okay, that's it. Done. End of conversation. You don't have to get into the nitty gritty. You don't have to literally be like, and butt sex is, and this is how butt sex is happening. And also, this is a 2-way dildo. Like, you don't have to get into any of that shit, okay? Here's a dual-pronged fuckmaster that you can use as a strap-on. Like what are we doing? Like, you can't just say like a daddy and daddy can also love one another the same way that mommy and daddy love each other. You can't do that. No, he's like, no, I have to talk about butt sex. I have to. I can't stop talking about pulsating dicks. I can't stop thinking about that. So that shit is fucking psychotic. You're insane. Yes, I am insane. It says resist inertia. I'm insane for saying, daddy and daddy can love one another. Wait, what? Why are you throwing up transgender pride and then saying they're right? What happened, bro? You good? He's just going through the motions. The chatter is going through the motions. He was like, I'm actually pro-trans. And then today he's like, he's pro-trans, but Caitlyn Jenner, guys. Caitlyn Jenner's in the chat. Pro-trans, but homophobic. You got to have that. You got to have that. You got to throw people for a loop there. You know what I mean? Anyway, so the internet, of course, stays undefeated. Immediately, someone went through and fucking found that same guy, okay? That same dude who now locked his account, by the way, of course. And his, like, takes on, I don't know what website this is, like Yelp or something. Pretty good, not a bad place. A little crunchy and liberal for me. Decent food and value. Chickpeas as a side. However, let's just say that this is a popular place for hot girls born in the late 1990s and no memory of 9/11. I have no other way of saying that than just to say it. Oh my jizzle. Fellas of Bristol, head down to Franklin Street. Do it. Do it. I mean, the worst thing here is not him like signaling to other pedophiles to do some noncery, some good old-fashioned noncery. That's not the worst part of this. The worst part of it is he said, oh my jizzle. To make matters worse, this was in 2015, okay? This wasn't in like 2020 where he wrote, girls that don't know about 9/11. He wrote this in 2015, which means he's talking about, 15-year-olds, okay? Anyway, woo! Bro, you literally say blammo? Shut the fuck up. This is not about me, okay? I am not on trial here, sir. I will say blammo all I fucking want. Anyway.